everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can everyone hear me? Thank you for coming out on a rainy morning.
I can't hear you.
All right. Can you hear me now?
No.
No. Come closer, please.
COVID,
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Paul Wazowski, and I'm the town moderator. I hereby open this meeting solely for the purpose of continuing it. I will not be taking motions or answering questions at this time. Excuse me. I have opened the meeting solely for the purpose of continuing it. If you please. There's no point of order. Please let me continue. Please give me the grace of that. Thank you. Following my action, Town Council will be available to answer questions. As indicated previously, in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 39, Section 10, the moderator has the authority to postpone the meeting for up to 14 days. The statute reads, and I'm going to quote, "Whenever the moderator determines voters are being excluded from the town meeting because there's no room for them and the place is provided, or that voters in attendance are being deprived of the opportunity to participate therein for any reason whatsoever, he shall either, on his own motion, recess the meeting for any period during the day of the meeting, or after consultation with the members of the Board of Selectmen then present, adjourn the same to another date not later than 14 days following the date of said meeting, when places and facilities sufficient to accommodate all voters attending and to enable them to participate therein shall be available. Based on the current set of circumstances and in consultation with the town clerk and town council, I've determined that voters are being deprived of the opportunity to participate in the meeting. As you know, 66 residency challenges were filed with the town clerk, all of which were approved for hearings by the Board of Registrars at their meeting on Wednesday. It was, please.
Raphael Richter.
Please.
This is a cover-up.
I will warn you that if you interrupt at town meeting and you do it repeatedly, you will be asked to leave.
You'll be asked to leave.
It was impossible to hold the required hearings before today, and we anticipate it will take some time to hold them all to completion. As such, and consistent with advice from the State Elections Division, Town Council, and at the request of the Town Clerk, I hereby adjourn this meeting until November 2nd at 5:30 p.m. here at Truro Central
Why are
School.
we
Why is it possible to have it here and there?
I have one more thing to say.
This isn't a
I have one more
club, this is a
request.
town.
Please.
This isn't your
Please give me the
club.
courtesy. Please give me the courtesy of listening to me.
Why is it
Please give me the courtesy of listening to me.
going to hold
We
this
heard you.
on November 2nd?
You should be inside, not standing in the rain.
I kindly ask for your patience
As
as we work together to ensure that every single person who is entitled to vote unquestionably has the right to do so.
That's not why you're
Thank
doing
you.
this.
Stop the nonsense, you're a bullshit.
You're a liar.
Where the hell are you from?
Voter intimidation.
Good morning, everyone.
Resign.
My name is John
Resign.
Giorgio. I'm at KP Law, and we serve as town council to the town. of
Another
Truro.
consultant.
I
Don't
have.
serve the citizens.
Now, let me say one thing.
You'll see
I am
everything the
not going
town
to stand
wants.
here
Don't
and
you
try to
think you know
answer
that?
your questions.
You know who you're paid
If
by.
you are going to be interrupting me, you will all have an opportunity to ask your questions. I will do my best to answer them, but we're going to do it in a civil manner, okay? That's just the way it's going to be. Now, we have been advising the moderator throughout this process.
No shit.
And it is
Yeah, I said it.
It is my opinion that the moderator is well within his statutory authority to postpone this meeting for up to 14 days, and that's what he has done.
Your opinion will be whatever the town wants. Don't you think we know that?
I am not, as
You're
I
a
said,
liar, you are. This is why
I've
people
been-
don't vote, because of people like you twisting the rules.
okay, does anyone have a question? I have a question right here.
Let's quiet down to the questions. We got some questions.
Yeah, I think it might be best.
Thank you. Mike Forgione, would-be voter for today, but unfortunately, we're not having a town meeting.
Microphone
But I would-
closer.
I would like to understand the question. You said it was according to Mass General Law, Section 10, and the paragraph that was quoted was whenever the moderator determines that the voters are being excluded. Who is being excluded?
Yeah.
In fact, let me finish my question. In
Use the
fact,
microphone.
by not
Don't
holding
hear
this
anything.
meeting today, you will be excluding people that had plans for today, but will not be able to come on the 14 days, people that will leave the community and will not be able to attend the meeting. In fact, you are the board that is excluding legal voters from this procedure.
So, you really need to read the entire statute and not just cherry pick words.
I cherry-picked what the statement was. I'm sorry, but you
The
missed.
statute allows the moderator to postpone town meeting for up to 14 days whenever in his or her opinion, voters are being excluded or people are being
Don't exclude them.
denied the right to participate. And this is the problem here. Every single registered voter and every resident of the town of Truro should be concerned about whether people entering this hall at town meeting is,
I highlighted the law for you, by the way.
oh, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
It doesn't say or.
They'll send you a bill for that.
Everyone should be concerned with the integrity of the voting process here in Truro.
I have a question. Question.
No, just because you're tall. Thank you.
I'm just trying to get his
I
attention.
don't know what the outcome of these voter registrations
No, but you're
is.
trying to stack
Maybe
this.
some
fingers.
of these voters can prove that they are legal residents of Truro for voting purposes.
Answer the
They will
question.
be allowed to vote
They better be.
when we get to the town meeting. There's no question
We don't
about
want our
that.
lives being picked over by you.
What is our recourse?
It's intimidation.
Hi, my name is Karen Kirby.
Can't hear you. Point of order. Stop.
Bring the mic to your lips.
Oh, thank you. Given the circumstances, I would like to propose and have people think about this. If we really want the majority of people to be here, we should have this meeting as normally planned, which is the annual meeting in April. And that way, you will get the maximum amount of people, which is really what we want. These are important issues. And it will give people time to plan and schedule. I mean, I can't make Thursday unless I do backflips. And, you know, some people, they have medical issues. You know, you're asking people if to cancel their medical chemotherapy or other, you know, obstacles. If we really are truly here together, I know, I understand business. It would be great to have several meetings to cut down the time. But right now, what we need is many people as we can get to be at a meeting. So that's my proposal.
Make it a Saturday. Have a Saturday.
Hello,
So,
sir.
just to emphasize now,
Have it on Thanksgiving Day.
this meeting has been adjourned until November 2nd. What happens after that, there are options available. That the moderator could consider, or that town meeting could consider on November 2nd. Right now, here today, The meeting is postponed only until November 2nd.
I wanted to know because we cannot come November 2nd, but we could come to any follow-up meeting. Will we be like disqualified because we don't register on November 2nd?
No.
I'm sorry.
No, ma'am. If you don't come to a town meeting, you don't lose your right to vote at a future meeting. That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Strange question.
She can hold it. Well, Blocking, will you let her speak?
Is this a
Will
question?
you let her speak?
This looks like a statement.
What on earth are you doing?
I'm sorry.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, speak loud.
This is my question to you. I believe no matter what our views, our town moderator deserves our respect. No matter what our views. And so my question, one of them is, please, all of us, treat this man with the respect he is giving you.
He's
And
not
now,
living up
no,
to
you
his
guys, there's more. So here we
call
go.
this respect?
In the minds of many Truro voters, this cancellation equals voter suppression. The town could have anticipated a turnout of over 500 people and prepared for that number as according to chapter blah, 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 bylaw blah, blah, blah. I'm not a lawyer.
Do you have a question?
Yes, I
Can you get to
do.
it?
I will.
Leave it alone.
Our townspeople have been repeatedly bullied in town meetings from town officials or during select board meetings from some of our elected officials. Despite all of our differing views on some of these articles, many citizens felt safe to attend today's town meeting because of the anticipated large turnout. There is safety in numbers. And my question is, why are town officials engaging in voter intimidation? We can do better.
Yeah.
Control the vote, control the vote.
Be polite, be civil. We can be the adult in the room. Come on, I am.
I do not agree with your premise that this is voter intimidation. This is protecting the integrity of the voting process in Truro. Yes, sir.
So, I have a couple of questions. Firstly, in relation to the law, and Chapter 30, Section 10, it requires a date certain. What is that date certain? And if
November
you haven't
2nd.
got, may I finish?
You asked me a question.
That was the first part. And if not, if you haven't got a date certain, why not cancel the special town meeting, put it out and back to April and an annual town meeting where everyone can attend and we can really do this democratically and properly.
The moderator said in his statement it was being postponed to November 2nd at 5:30 in this building. That's the answer to your first question. The question has already been asked why we cannot simply postpone this meeting. Actually, we'd have to dissolve the town meeting and put all these warrant articles on the warrant in April.
I have a question.
And the answer is,
Excuse me, that is an option. That would be up to the select board if they chose to do it.
they're so even-handed.
Question, please. Question, just a question. Thank you.
It's a question. I have a question. I was sitting there in the meeting where you called out 66 or 67 people as misregistered. I know one of them personally. I contacted them, and I know for a fact that they live here. I know for a fact that they were misrepresented in that meeting.
What I want to know is, why did Raphael Richter get her information? Because he doesn't know her and she doesn't know him. Why did Raphael Richter get the information about her owning a condominium up in Boston? What does Raphael Richter have to do with this process? Thank you.
Any registered voter in the town may file a voter registration complaint. I cannot answer for Mr. Richter, although he did sign the voter registration complaints.
66.
And by the way, every single one of those 66 people will be given an opportunity to come before the registrars to prove that they are residents of the town of Truro for voting purposes. And if the registrars agree, the name of that individual will remain on the voter rolls in the town.
It's a witch hunt.
1690, Salem.
No.
So any new complaints will also be adjudicated?
Excuse me, I've been asked a question here, whether there's a time limit on filing voter registration complaints. The answer is no.
And they will
Any
also-
registered voter can do that at any time.
And they will also be adjudicated for this town meeting.
Oh, I don't know.
Why are we excluding that?
Listen, you're asking me to speculate on something that hasn't occurred.
We opened the door. You opened the door.
The door is open.
Yes, ma'am.
Kathy Hall, registered voter. The question I have pertains to the legal advice of your firm and the consistency or lack thereof. The question I have pertains to the consistency of the firm and its advice that's been giving not only our town but other towns. We heard from Council Lauren Goldberg at a very recent town meeting in which she said that she explained what this rules and regulations are pertaining to the complaints for the voters. She also said less than a year ago in the town of Lincoln that such allegations are very serious, quote, a big deal, quote, providing just a long list of names of people who may or may not be incorrectly registered is not legally appropriate. Quote, you can't complain about 10 people or even 5 people. It has to be personal evidence to require someone to come in for a hearing. And finally, she said, the person who in the town of Lincoln raised this, she said he intended to make election day difficult. He should have challenged these voters long ago. It was completely unnecessary. So my question is, what Lauren is advising our town, she's, you know, what does this have to do with how this is being handled here? Because I don't think it's appropriate, and I'm concerned about the process. It's not about the outcome. We need to have a proper process.
So there are two things that can happen here. What has happened here in Truro is that 66 voter registration complaints were filed.
By who? Handpicked.
I think if
By Richter.
yeah, well, that's not rocket science to figure that out, because he signed them all under penalties of perjury. The registrars met last week,
Well, let's penalize.
reviewed all of the factual information that were on those complaint forms, and they found
Who are
that
they?
there was a basis to move forward with a voter registration hearing, and that's going to take place. Okay? Now, you can also just, at town meeting, you can, you know, challenge somebody who comes up to the table to check in, and that voter, if they're on the voting rolls, and there's been no challenge adjudicated, they can go in and they can vote. That simple.
Question.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Question for you as a lawyer. Do I have the authority and ability to put the entire town of Truro on a list similar to what Raphael Richter did?
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone should get looked at.
If you're, I think I said that any registered voter can file a voter registration complaint, but you have to have facts.
Let's look at Julian Sear.
You have to have facts to support that complaint. And there's a process where the registrars will first look at the complaint and decide, as I've said, whether or not there is sufficient cause to proceed with the hearing.
Who's the registrar?
Yeah, who are they?
Who are they? What do they say?
What is the appeal process?
Who were they married
What
to?
recourse
Who were they married to?
Right? Oh, well, I'm not gonna answer that question, other than to say that the registrars, under the direction of the town clerk, administer elections in every single town and city in Massachusetts.
Who appointed them?
They are appointed by the select board under state. I would like to finish. They are appointed by the select board under state law, and there has to be representatives from both political parties on the board of registrars. Right now, there are four registrars
Question,
in Truro.
question. What
Go up to
happens,
the microphone, talk loud.
what happens if you investigate and find out that these people have fraudulently accused someone of not being voter worthy, registered? Do they get prosecuted for that, or what?
What happens if the people?
I'm sorry, ma'am, I have a question to ask. You'll be next, okay?
Sure, I just clarified for
If someone signs an affidavit that is fraudulent, I don't care what the legal proceeding is, there are potential penalties for that. That's not something that the town would pursue. It would be a matter for the district attorney or the attorney general.
Did they sign an affidavit is what I want to know.
Yeah. Yes.
They did, okay.
I'm sorry, ma'am? Ma'am?
Oh, no, it's just repeating for Jane.
Oh, okay, thank
I have her
you.
back.
Thank you. Who else, who hasn't asked a question yet? Yes, back there.
Hi, so my question is, what are the implications for the people who perhaps did in fact wake up one day in whatever town that they do live in and decide that they don't care for the people who clean their houses or serve them at Salty Market, which is the shirt that you're wearing, or pick up their trash or work in their post office? So for those people who woke up in whatever town and decided to switch their registration so that they can come into your town and make sure that the people who live here in the winter won't be able to succeed, but they'll be here to serve them in the summer, what will happen to those people?
So that's a complicated question, but I think it's fair to say that if someone was given bad advice, which they have been in this case, but they registered to vote in Truro in good faith, but improperly, okay? They have been informed already that one option is to withdraw their voter registration in Truro and go back to wherever they were registered before. Because, you know, all 66 of these people who registered to vote in Truro, that goes into the state database, and they're going to be automatically stricken from the voter rolls in their town where they were previously registered.
Public school systems in those towns, what happens to the kids that are in those public school systems in their hometown?
Well, I believe Attorney Goldberg has indicated that there are some significant adverse consequences that, and I'm not talking about criminal prosecution, don't get me wrong. I would like to think that all of these 66 people who registered to vote incorrectly did so, I'm going to say in good faith.
That's an
And
assumption.
so I doubt that, excuse me, let me.
No right to say that. No right.
You're not the board of registrar.
You're not a judge.
I've already said that this decision is going to be up to the registrars. And if the registrars say that they have been properly registered in Truro, they will stay on the voter rolls and they can vote. It's that simple. Now, you've asked me a question about potential consequences. And when I said it's complicated, I got laughed at. Well, that's too bad. It's complicated. But if somebody, I said if they registered improperly, and I'm not saying they all did because I don't know, none of you know, that's up to the registrars to determine. But if they are determined to have registered improperly, they will be stricken from the Truro voting rolls. That's simple. Anybody else who hasn't asked a question?
Voter intimidation.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
So thank you, John Linder, I'm a resident over here. The question I have is maybe you could enlighten us on the process of the review process for the challenged registrants. You had said, I mean, there's 66. Will these all be reviewed in time for November 2nd? Will people be given notice if they're on that list to come on such and such a date? And what happens if they can't be there, they're traveling, they're away? Will there be a stay? I mean, what is the possibility that people could be stricken for not showing up simply because they couldn't or were given a date that wasn't convenient for them? And can this all be done in time for November 2nd?
That is highly doubtful. If all 60, the first question is, once they receive this summons, are all 66 going to, are any of the 66 going to switch their voter registration back? So I don't know what the universe of hearings is going to be. But there will be several nights of hearings, and these individuals will be summoned to appear, and they are going to have to demonstrate that they meet the voter registration residency requirements in the town of Truro.
What if they can't make it?
The law, I think, is the reverse.
Well, hold on.
The challenger has to demonstrate that they violated the law.
And that's the affidavit of the of the registration complaints have that, all of that information in the signed affidavit. Now, if somebody can't attend, you know, I'm not going to advise you what to do, but there's going to be multiple nights of hearings here, and
What will the outcome be if you can't make it?
I'm sorry?
What will the outcome be if you can't make the meeting? Is somebody gonna arbitrarily decide that that person is not qualified to be a voter?
The registrars have already determined, based on the complaints, that there's sufficient grounds to question the voter registration of these 66 individuals.
What about the appeal process?
Raphael has.
Listen, we're getting ahead of ourselves now, and I don't want to engage in endless questions here, but if anybody has a new question, and then we're going to wrap this up. Yes, ma'am?
We're paying your salary.
Are the hearings open to the public?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Where are they?
Where are they?
Yeah, the town will identify the location, because it could depend upon how many people they expect might show up. Yes, ma'am.
My name's Rebecca Bruin, and I'm a registered voter, and I just want to understand. I know that I took a look at the list, and there were a few people who I know are not year-round residents, but I know that it's too late for me to submit. Can I still submit?
Submit what?
A complaint or a document? And I know the burden's on me to be able to show that I know that they're part-time.
You turn each other in.
Year-round
Unbelievable.
To vote here.
Yes, so you can. The answer is you can. Have you spoken yet?
Year-round resident, and he votes here.
I'm Eric Parker, Truro voter and resident. I'm very confused. I came here to vote today. This has been posted for quite a while. They've been working towards it. I understand why I've had to rearrange my life in order to be able to come here. It's not like an election. You have to be here to have your voice and physically be here. So it's a great inconvenience for many people probably to have rearrange their lives just for today. Now you're talking about rearranging their lives again for November 2nd, and you're keeping that open end and saying you might not get it done by then. You might have to go further. How many times can this be pushed, and how many times do we have to consider rearranging our lives to be here in person? And is there a limit to this? I just want to know. I don't know when to ever come here again.
Talk to the 66 people.
I'm right here. She's one of them.
Yeah, so
She's one of
I'm
them.
happy to answer your question, sir. I would encourage all of you to keep track of this on the town website, because I'm sure the moderator will make this determination, most likely, maybe not, before November 2nd. It depends upon how far we get with the voter registration hearings. And so the notice of this postponement was on the town website, right? And I would encourage you to call town hall, to look at the website as we get closer to November 2nd. That's all I can say, sir. That's all I can say. Yes, ma'am.
How much notice is required? How much time?
I just have the feeling that you can't please all of the people all of the time. There are people that couldn't come today that will now be able to come on the 2nd. I myself am going away. I could come today. I can't come on the 2nd. You're not going to find a date that's going to fit for everyone. So we just have to follow the rule of law and do what we can on the dates that we can.
April.
All right, I'm going to take one more question over here. Is there anybody over here with a question?
Christmas Day.
Anybody over here with a question?
One right there.
I got a question.
All right, you'll have the last question, sir.
First of all, thank you for doing this. I do appreciate it. I know I come on very strong, but I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Through you to the clerk, around the evidence that was provided by the petitioner or the challenger. Now, some of the stuff that I heard at the meeting, and I'm sorry, the challenge was based on the street listings, the vehicle that were not registered in town, personal property tax was being paid by these individuals. The person was on a residential credit list. They were getting residential credit from another town.
Residential tax exemption.
Right, and they were basically, their address for the bill was out of town. My first question is that the sole criteria? And let me ask my second question, if you don't mind. My second question is, would an individual, and I'm using it for example, would an individual who decided in August this to be their primary home, would they A, appear on a street listings? Would they B, have their vehicles transferred in time? Would their property tax not be due to Truro? Would their residential credit exemption be honored by Truro? And would their address not be out of town? Because it is my opinion, those are all circumstantial evidences that you are challenging this duly posted warrant meeting.
Thank you. I'm not going to advise the town clerk to answer that question, but I will. Because we have to be very careful to protect due process rights, especially for the 66 voters who are subject to this challenge. And I don't think it's appropriate for the town clerk or any other town official to answer hypothetical questions that may or may not pertain to particular situations.
What is the process of dissolving the meeting and moving these
I'm not
articles to the
finished with
spring warrant?
I'm not finished with answering this question. I'm sorry.
If you could answer mine after, thank you.
Okay, come on down. Now I've been interrupted and I've lost my train of thought, but that's not unusual.
Due process.
Yeah, so we have to worry about the due process rights of these individuals. Now, you talk about all this circumstantial evidence. Yes. This is a factual inquiry. And the key question that the registrars have to answer in any voter registration hearing is whether the voter who's being challenged, whether Truro is the center of their civic and social life. That's the legal standard, and that's the standard that the registrars are going to apply when they make this decision.
What about Julian Sear can't vote?
Julian Sear lives next to me.
I'm not talking about anybody in particular. Yes, ma'am.
What is the process?
He lives in Boston.
What
He lives in Boston.
Hold on. There's one more process
Last question.
question.
What would the process for discontinuing this meeting completely and moving it to spring? There is not a single article on here of major time importance. What can
Yes.
you
Yes,
do
there
to do
is.
that?
The HVAC system, you don't care about kids?
Okay, so,
Stop smirking.
so town meeting would have to vote to dissolve the meeting. Town meeting was convened in order to vote. Now,
It wasn't convenient, actually.
that's why there's, that's correct, but let's just, and this is purely hypothetical. If town meeting convenes on November 2nd, someone can move to dissolve the meeting. Now, you can't force the select board, which by law control the warrant, you can't force the select board to put any of these articles on the warrant in April. That is their decision. Voters, however, as you all well know, can submit citizen petitions. At the annual town meeting, it only takes 12 signatures. Okay? So that's it. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you for coming. I know this is a challenging time for our town, and I just really hope that people, I will reiterate this, I really hope people are patient and allow this process to play out so that every person who is eligible to vote will be able to vote unquestionably. Thank you.